Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and I've been using the new flagship from Samsung, the Galaxy S24 Ultra, for almost 2 weeks. Yes, it's only been about a week and 5 days, so almost 2 weeks. But anyways, I want to give you my impressions on it. Not quite a full review just yet, that will come soon, but want to talk about my thoughts after using this phone every day. The S24 comes out in a few days, so this is your last chance to pre-order the device and get the bonuses they're offering, like storage upgrades, and even extra on your trade-in value. So I will link to the best pre-order deals down in the description. With that being said, these are my almost 2-week impressions on the new Galaxy S24 Ultra. To begin, let's talk about the build, and I'm a fan of the overall aesthetics. It looks very similar than the S23 Ultra. However, they did add titanium to the rails of the phone, and I have to say the corners are still a little sharp. They kind of dig into your palms while you're holding the device over a long period of time. It gets, just a tiny bit uncomfortable. And obviously the use of titanium wasn't the first. So we have another phone here with titanium, and a noticeable difference about this one is that it got a lot lighter, and that was attributed to using that titanium material. It is a lighter, stronger material. And with that being said, I expected the S24 Ultra to be lighter, and while it is, it's only 1 gram lighter. So you went from 233, let me double check, yeah, 233 from the S23 Ultra to 232 grams on the S24 Ultra, so just about the exact same weight, and it's fairly heavy. Whereas in comparison, the iPhone 14 Pro Max is 240 grams, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max went down to 221 grams, so quite the difference, and noticeable as well. So not quite the decrease in weight I was hoping for when they announced that this phone would have titanium. Hopefully going forward, they start to make their phones a little lighter. Next, let's talk about a definite improvement in multiple ways, and that's the screen on the S24 Ultra. First things first, it's not quite a curved display anymore. It is very flat, which is very helpful. First of all, you can have screen protectors that are glass on top of it if you're looking for some extra protection, but not only that, when using that S Pen, it is much more comfortable. You're not kind of falling off the sides if you're looking to do something on the side of the screen. So definite improvement. Not only that, the screen gets much brighter, especially when you're outside. It's very noticeable, and you can see your phone, especially in direct sunlight. Very easy to see. And on top of that, one of the features that wasn't highlighted enough, in my opinion, is the glare on the screen. So it's not nearly as reflective as the previous version, or, for that matter, any other phone I've used. I noticed it right away. When there's light hitting the screen at a certain angle, it just didn't quite reflect as hard. And you can see even on the camera that it's just a little more muted in terms of the reflection. I noticed on my flight home from Unpacked when I had light coming in from the window of the airplane, and it just was very noticeable. It makes it so you can see more, so that coupled with the brightness of the screen is an exceptional improvement. Out of the box, I use always on display all the time, and I noticed that the wallpaper is enabled by default, which I know some people like. I turned it off to save battery life. I don't necessarily need the wallpaper on while my phone is locked. And speaking of wallpaper, Samsung has Google's generative AI wallpaper where you can not completely customize it. You can't just type in something and randomly generate a wallpaper. It gives you prompts and you can fill in specific words to generate another wallpaper, but nice to see that feature. Obviously, Samsung highlighted AI on their phone quite a bit, and I'm gonna focus more on that in my full review, but still when it comes to AI, they do have a toggle for just switching to on-device AI, but that really gets rid of a lot of features. So it's very clear that there aren't too many on-device AI features, which I was expecting, especially with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset that's more than capable. Anyway, Circle the Search has been fantastic. It's not even on the Pixel yet, but having to test it out on this phone has been a lot of fun and extremely useful. I have a full video on it though, so I'll link to that in the description. Now, more to come on the camera in my full review, of course. I could post a couple pictures that I've taken with this camera here, but yes, more to come on my thoughts on it. But one thing I noticed is, first of all, when you go to Pro Video, you have the option to shoot in 120 frames per second. Which, a lot of pro people might want, but a general user might not need it, which is why it's in Pro Video. But not only that, something more useful, especially to everyone, is the fact that you can switch your lens, your camera lens, while you're shooting a video. So you can swap between ultra wide, standard, telephoto lens, all without stopping your recording. That's a new feature and extremely useful. Thanks for adding that, Samsung. Instead of including a 10x lens, Samsung only included a 5x lens in the S24. However, I will say the 5x to 10x shots are improved on the S24 Ultra. However, you see a decrease in quality when you go all the way up to that 100 times zoom. I even noticed it when taking pictures of the moon. They just didn't turn out that great. And speaking of video, an AI feature I really like is slowing down video, but also kind of adding frames and filling them in so it doesn't look super choppy, which usually happens when you slow down video that aren't shot at 120 frames a second. So what I did was taking a video that wasn't even shot on this phone. It was shot in 30 frames per second, but yet when you slow it down, it still looks smoother because it sort of fills in the frames that are missing. Yes, you can kind of tell if you look really hard. I can definitely notice that it wasn't shot, in slow motion, but still, it looks much better. So that's a really great feature if you're trying to slow down a video that wasn't shot in slow-mo. In terms of the lock screen, the fingerprint scanner is great. It's quick, it's accurate. Now, going forward, I hope they expand the area that you can unlock your phone. If the bottom half of the screen, if I could just set my finger on that, that would be a really good addition. Anyways, you can also add widgets to the lock screen now on your Samsung phone, but they're very limited. They're limited to basically Samsung apps, but it's nice to see the weather and maybe your battery percentage right away on that always on display. The Samsung Notes app got a welcome AI boost and added features like auto formatting, summarizing, spell check, and even translation. Selecting that star icon down at the bottom and selecting the specific text, I'm going to select everything. You can auto format. I can summarize all of these bullet points. Summarizing determines the more important points. You can even reformat it, and it gives you different styles with different colors. Another potentially useful AI feature, which I'll do a live demo pretty soon, so keep an eye out for that video, but the live translate option while you are on a call. I just want to highlight a couple different settings where you can choose your specific language that you speak, but also I like that you have the option to mute your voice. So if I'm talking and I don't want them to hear my actual voice, just the translation, I can have that, and vice versa with the other person on the line. You can select their specific language and you can even mute their voice and only hear the translation. Now, I haven't talked too much about performance because it really does handle every task you throw at it. When it comes to sustained long-term gaming, it doesn't get too hot. The new cooling system is really good. So, especially with that Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset, power is great. When it comes to energy efficiency, it's been solid as well. I wouldn't say mind-blowing battery life, but overall, it's definitely got me through a full day. But anyways, this is definitely the phone to beat for the year. Samsung's always done a really good job at starting the year out strong with, arguably always the best phone of the year. So anyways, drop a comment, let me know what you think about this phone. A lot more to come, so be sure to click that subscribe button. I will link to everything down in the description in terms of pre-orders and more. Be sure to follow me on various social media. Those will be linked down below. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up. As always, thanks for watching.